Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we break down the nitty-gritty of corporate filings to reveal the real story behind the numbers. And today we're diving into Bimergen Energy Corporation's latest. Filing this one is packed with a lot of energy sector talk and some interesting financial moves, so buckle up and stick around as we decode it all. Before we dive in, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents without the jargon, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below, where we discuss these filings. More so, join the conversation there. Let's start with a look at their operations and strategy. Bimergen is all about renewable energy, specifically battery energy storage systems, or BESS, and solar projects. They acquired a bunch of these projects from Bimergen Energy in April of 2024, aiming to become a grid balancing operator. They acquired a bunch of these projects from Bimergen Energy in April of 2024, aiming to become a grid balancing operator. Their main focus right now is on BESS projects because the market for energy storage is growing fast and it's generally seen as a simpler develop than solar projects. Now they are in what's called the development stage, meaning they haven't actually started making money commercially yet or selling power. They're actively working on about 2 gigawatts of BESS projects, and their goal is to bring about 200 megawatts of new projects online each year. To help fund all this development, they've managed to secure a $50 million financing facility, which is great for early stage stuff like permits and getting crucial equipment ready for construction. Then we get into the nitty gritty of their projects. They've got a whole table listing out all these BESS projects by county, state, and capacity, like Redbird BESS in Fort Bend, Texas, with 100 megawatt and a bunch more across Texas, Arizona, Virginia, and Louisiana. These projects represent a massive amount of potential storage capacity if they all come online. They also have solar projects listed here like Redbird Solar in Fort Bend, Texas, with 100 megawatt capacity, and several others spread across Texas and Arizona, but it looks like the best projects are their main priority right now. The financing for these projects is key, and they are targeting 2 to 3 projects each fiscal year, expecting debt facilities to carry around 6 to 8% interest rates and equity partners. Looking for about a 10 to 15% annual return. A big part of their setup involves a project management services agreement with an entity called Energy Independent Partners, or EIP, which is controlled by Cole Johnson, who is also their president, and a director. The fees to EIP are $0.35 per watt for each BESS and solar project, and this is paid out when the project secures financing. It's a pretty substantial commitment with potential fees totaling tens of millions of dollars if all these projects get funded. Interestingly, they also entered into a project sale agreement with Bridgelink for a significant portion of their solar projects, totaling about 2.4 gigawatts. This deal is structured with an initial deposit and potential milestone payments, but it seems like they're focusing their efforts on getting the best projects financed. Now, let's talk about the financial performance. Even though they're still developing projects, it's important to see where the money is going. In the first 3 months of 2025, revenue was zero, just like in the same period of 2024. General and administrative expenses jumped significantly in 2025 to over $70,000. In 2024, a big chunk of that increase is due to non-cash stock compensation and fees related to those Bimergen projects. This led to a net loss of around $87,000 in $2,000 in the first quarter of 2025 dollars in the first quarter of 2025. Looking at the full year 2024, revenue was also zero and administrative expenses were almost $2.8 million compared to about $90,000 2023. A big reason for that jump was stock compensation expenses, which were over $1.2 million in 2024, a big jump from the $920 million in 2024. A big jump from the $920,000 loss in 2023. All this resulted in a net loss of nearly $2.8 million in 2024. A big jump from the $92,000 loss in 2023. Big reason for that jump was stock compensation expenses, which were over $1.2 million in 2024. So a big jump from the $92,000 loss in 2023. Financially, they had about $16,000 in cash, which isn't a lot for a company looking to fund multi-million-dollar projects. They also have intangible assets worth over $22 million from that Bimergen acquisition, essentially the rights to these development projects. And here's a point that investors should note: their common stock might be considered a penny stock under SEC rules, which can put extra burdens on brokers selling it. This could mean less liquidity for the stock. Looking at their stock options as of the end of 2024, they had over 30,000 options outstanding, which is a significant number of potential shares that could dilute existing shareholders if exercised, especially with exercise prices ranging from $70 to $210 per share after a recent reverse stock split tableau. And since we're talking about dilution, their net tangible book value per share is actually negative at around negative $0.23. This means if you bought shares, you're buying into a company that owes more than its tangible assets are worth. And this dilution gets worse with stock options and future fundraising. Leadership-wise, Benjamin Tran is their CEO and chairman, bringing a lot of experience from venture capital and advisory roles. Cole Johnson is president and a director with a background in solar and energy storage project development. And Robert Bryan is their CFO, who has a very extensive finance background with many public companies. Benjamin Tran's compensation for 2024 was around $26,000 salary plus a lot of stock awards, totaling over $1.4 million for Cole Johnson, president. His salary was $1,000, but he also received a massive $4.2 million in what looks like a bonus and stock awards, totaling $4.3 million in what looks like a bonus and stock awards, totaling $4.3 million in what looks like a bonus and stock awards, totaling $4,300 salary plus stock awards valued at $6,000, totaling just under $7,500. Looking at who owns the company right now, Benjamin Tran has about 27.6% of the shares and Robert Bryan holds about 3.2%. This means the key management team holds a significant chunk of the company. Now, for my take on Bimergen Energy Corporation, they're in a booming industry. The renewable energy and energy storage sector is definitely where the future is headed, and their focus on best projects makes sense, given that they're still in the very early development stages and haven't generated revenue yet. The huge losses and negative net tangible book value are expected, but the reliance on future financing is a massive risk. The stock options and awards to management, while standard, are quite significant, and if all those projects get funded and operational, the fees due to EIP are substantial and need to be watched closely. The ownership structure with Cole Johnson holding over 40% of the company definitely gives him a lot of say in its direction, which can be good if his vision aligns with shareholder value, but also raises concerns if there are any conflicts of interest, especially with those related party transactions and service agreements. Overall, Bimergen is a high-risk, high-reward play. The story is there, the market is growing, but the execution and securing of project financing will be absolutely critical to watch. Alright, that's our breakdown of Bimergen Energy's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives into corporate documents. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description to join the conversation. Thanks for watching. See you next time.